So how many valence electrons do we have is question 2 on the worksheet. And this you got to read from the periodic table. So anything in column 1, the leftmost column is going to have 1 valence electron. Anything in column 2 is going to have 2 valence electrons. Now anything in column 3 is going to have 3 valence electrons. But remember, column number 3 is over here. So we're going to skip all this stuff in the middle, only counting 1 to 8 in the top columns. But basically, the valence electrons is kind of complicated for these things in the middle. Next column is 4, 5, 6, 7 for the halogens, 8 for the noble gases. So that's how we count to 8 in chemistry. Maybe it's a little funny. That's just the way it is. That's what the periodic table means, because again, these numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that represents the number of valence electrons. So we're asked how many valence electrons for oxygen. Oxygen is element O. We look it up on the periodic table and we see that it's in column 6, meaning that oxygen has 6 valence electrons. Hydrogen is capital H, number 1 on the periodic table, also in column 1. So hydrogen has 1 valence electron. And now there's one exception to this. This is the last problem I'm going to do, I believe. But we have He for helium. Now, if you look at helium, it's over here in the 8th column. It's in the 8th column because it is a noble gas. And yet, you see how there's a hole here in the periodic table at the top of column 2? It's beside hydrogen and above beryllium. So there's always lots of rules, and there's always an exception or two to every rule in chemistry. So helium is a noble gas. That's why it's in column 8. But it also has 2 valence electrons, and it fits into that little hole. So I'll put 2. You don't have to write this, but just to note that it's the exception, not 8. And you'll see that all the other questions on this problem, like, for example, nitrogen, is in column 5. Nitrogen has 5 valence electrons. Carbon, beside nitrogen, is in column 4, has 4 valence electrons, capital N and capital C for carbon. And the rest of these are just going to work by reading off the number 1 to 8. Helium is the only exception to that rule.